Hello there and welcome. On the midnight of January the 18th this year, 2015, the federal government reduced the pump price of premium motor spirit, otherwise known as petrol, from 97 naira to 87 naira, a difference of 10 naira. Now, this move, according to the Minister of Petroleum Resources, Mrs. Diezani Alice Madueke, was in view of the recent reduction in the global price of crude oil, a situation economic analysts believe could have adverse effects on Nigeria's economy if not properly handled by all concerned individuals in the oil and gas industry. Even government had asked Nigerians to brace up for some austerity measures resulting from the drop in the country's crude oil earnings. With this development, many now wonder what the immediate future holds for the ordinary Nigerian, especially the workers. How are the states across the country expected to weather this present economic storm, including the government at the center? What are the benefits and consequences of the situation we now find ourselves as a nation? Our guest this week is Mr. Peter Esele, a former President General of the Trade Union Congress, to help dissect this issue while also looking at the implications on the country's political situation, even as the general elections draw near. I'm Ayotunde Balogun, and it's question time. Mr. Peter Esele, you're welcome to Question Time.
Thank you very much.
We're delighted to have you on the program this week. Of course, you are the former President General of the Trade Union Congress, the TUC. Let's start by discussing about the recent reduction in the pump price of petrol, from 97 naira to 87 naira. Tell us, what's your response on this latest development?
I think it's a welcome development. I think it's long overdue because you've been having the prices of crude keep falling, and it was my expectation that government would have done this earlier. But I was looking at my worry was initially that the government was going to work itself into a cul-de-sac, just like Yar'Adua did at that time. We had gone up when the price of crude fell to as low as $35–40. We went to those in power then to let them know that this is the right time to deregulate and let Nigerians know that when the price of crude goes down, they pay less. And it becomes easier for them to accept when the prices also go up, they pay more. So when we told them, they said, no, they're not going to do that now. They want to recover some cash that they've been spending on the subsidy. And then after 6 months, they now decided to reduce it by 5 naira. That was when it went to 65 naira. And we told them, now you've made a mistake. Because now by reducing to 65 naira, you just devalued your currency. And none of this product is gotten from the country. They're all imported. So you had marketers now saying that they're not going to sell at that price. And for another 1 month, we had very serious problem that they now had to find a way to also cushion the effect on the marketers. But the difference here is that you've had consistently that the price of crude has been going down. So I think it would have been a little bit lower than that, getting back to 87 naira. But again, similar thing also plays itself out. The currency have been devalued between 10 and 15%. So we also have to take that into consideration. So probably that's why we have to pay 87. Probably the price should be within range of 70–75.
Now, some will argue that perhaps the reason for this development, pump price reduction in petrol is actually political. Would you agree to that?
You see, there's always a reason for the season. There must be something for something to happen. But the bottom line is that does it benefit you? So I don't really want to bother myself about whether it's done politically or not. But whether it was done 4 months ago, 6 months ago, politics will still have been part of it. So for me, the bottom line is 10 naira succour has come. You may not really look at it. If somebody is looking at me, you'll say 10 naira. But I'll tell you, for a country that consumes 30 million liters, that's what it said, averagely 20 million liters a day, 10 naira, that's like 300 million naira every day. And in 10 days, you're looking at about 3 billion. and in one month, you're looking at about 9 billion. So that is the savings that you are talking about now that would have been used for subsidy. So it's huge. And when you look at it that way, you now find out that, yes, whether it's political or it's not political, if I'm using 5,000 naira to fill my tank, and I'm getting 500 or 600 naira less, I think I'll take it.
Now, we know from raw crude we derive other byproducts. We talk about bitumen, kerosene, or even diesel, and so on. But why are we just focusing, or why are we just, reducing the price of petrol? Why not the others?
Because the bottom line is that we're not thinking. We are doing the same thing we were doing in 1984, which is we get product we get our crude, we take it out, and then we now take those crudes. After taking them out, we go ahead again to have them refined, and all our attention is on kerosene. Ordinarily, when you have your crude and you refine, what you've done is that you've created more jobs locally. Instead, what we are doing is that we are importing poverty. We're importing poverty and we're exporting jobs. Because if our refining capacity can take care of the 400,000 barrels that daily crude allocation that we get, what would have happened is that we've had more Nigerians. Attention will leave kerosene. Attention will leave petrol. Attention will leave. You have so many. There are up to about 200 byproducts. So our attention is specifically on just a single product, and that's why we are also a mono economy. So when you look at the economy, each time the price of crude goes up, we are all panicking. Never mind, they tell you that, oh no, SS crude account is this, is that. But the bottom line again now is that it goes up, and government start telling you they are spending 1 trillion naira or close to 1 trillion naira to subsidize petrol or kerosene. So at the end of the day, we are really not maximizing our opportunity. And why I say we are not thinking is that we are also not looking at the dynamics. We really don't have any power behind how the price of crude is fixed. Let nobody deceive you. Anybody telling you that, no, we don't. If we are thinking, we should find a way to make sure that we don't have a mono economy. Whether the price of crude if the price of crude is lower, the ordinary man in America, on the street of America, are so happy. The American economy also grows. If the price is high, they have several sources of income. But in our case, what you have is just a single income, a mono economy, whereby whether the price is up, we are in trouble, whether the price is down, we are in trouble. And if the price is down, the easiest way is devalue the currency, print more money. So those are the challenges
it's a case of more like getting stuck in the middle.
Yes. So those are the challenges.
You can't go forward, you can't go back.
Yes, those are the challenges we are going to face, and that's why those in leadership position must put on their thinking cap. So that this politics, every country has to look after its own interest. America has to look after its own interest. The Saudis also have to look after its own interest. So Nigeria also have to look after its own interest. So we have to also identify what is our interest. This crude oil, unfortunately, is not going to take us to where we want to be. We just need, because we've not maximized the opportunity after over 50 years. So I won't tell you, I'm not going to say, yes, the crude oil have taken us because we are called an oil producing country.
Largest producer in the world.
No.
Now, from the picture you're painting here, Mr. Esele, it does appear the future looks bleak for Nigerians, isn't it?
No, I won't say it's bleak, because there's an opportunity in everything. It's for us to look at the opportunity. Sometimes it's also good for life to be very tough. Probably out of it, you are able to find you have to find a better exit, and that is what has made great people, great country where they are today. Those difficult moments, ability for you to look at those difficult moments and make use of it. If now the price of crude is tanking, so what tells you? The simple thing is that we have to look elsewhere. We have to develop something else, agriculture, intellectual property. We have to go to our universities.
Now, we all know kerosene is a household product. Of course, we also know that we have a huge reserves of gas that Nigerians can also tap into as an alternative. But why are we not thinking about reducing the prices of those? I mean, let's face it, how many people do have cars, to use petrol?
First of all, kerosene is subsidized. Kerosene is heavily subsidized. The problem we have is that the cost of kerosene, you never get it at the price that the government has said it should be sold. That is the biggest problem that we have. Because even in majority of our filling stations, of our gas station, once you get there, the surprise that you meet is you can't even get kerosene to buy. Ordinarily, it's supposed to be far, far cheaper than petrol. But because of the corruption within the system, sometimes people take kerosene, and then the difference between it and aviation kerosene is very, very minimal, very little. So sometimes where you want to make the quick bucks, people take it and then they divert it. So actually, the price of kerosene is supposed to be affordable, but it is only whether you see the kerosene or whether the kerosene will go to where it's supposed to go. Secondly, you just made reference to gas. Now let's look at power, for example. If you look at what we have, if you look at crude oil to gas, Nigeria is more of a gas country than crude oil. Now the difference is that yes, we have huge gas reserve, and the gas reserve ordinarily should have been able to power the country. And now we are talking about, the government is talking about gas master plan. One of the biggest problems that we've always had is that we have everything on paper. If it is in terms of policy, of documentation, putting everything on paper, I think we can stand with the best in the world. But it now comes to application, the discipline and the commitment to be steady, to say this is what we are going to do. That has been our problem. We always have policies of a sort, and we are not ready to be consistent, to say, okay, this is what we want to see happen. Even if you look at our modern cities, some of the cities that you can say, okay, these are modern cities. Even if you look at Abuja, for example, which of course look like a modern city. How will you now say you have a gas master plan? How are you going to pipe gas into all of the houses? That becomes a problem in itself. And then there are other ways by which you can also go ahead and say, there are other models that you can now go ahead and say, okay, fine, you give this gas. Somebody in the rural area, why don't you just go ahead and say, okay, everybody's going to use gas? Because what that will do for you is also protect your environment. Everybody is going to use gas. And you take the smallest of this cylinder, and you apply subsidy to that. Because I can assure you, if anybody is using gas for 90 days, it will be difficult for the person to go back to kerosene. Because if you find out the cost of you using kerosene, because you can't get kerosene at the government price, if you find out the amount of money that they spend, that amount of money, they apply it, you subsidize it, and then you give everybody a gas cylinder. It has been done before. It was done in Indonesia to make the people to now start using gas. There are other means by which we can do this. But the bottom line is, are we ready to make life easy for the people? That's the key.
In a related development, still talking about pump price reduction. I mean, after all the clamor sometime in 2012, you were appointed as a member of the panel of a special task force on the Petroleum Industry Bill, alongside Senator Udoma as the chairman. Now, let's find out, what was the outcome of that task force, really?
We did what we have to do. First was look at the PIB bill, see whatever areas that you think could be corrected, and then see how we can go ahead and send it to the National Assembly. We all did that, and we made a report available to the President. The President now turned it to an executive bill and sent it to the National Assembly. And as I'm talking to you now, I think the PIB bill is on life support.
Mr. Esele, tell us, why is it taking so long for the lawmakers to really, get the PIB up and running? Why are we finding it difficult to pass this bill? It's been on for years and years now. What's going on? Are there any intricacies?
That is one of the challenges of oil and gas. Too many interests. Too many interests involved in it. First, you have the government. Now you have politicians involved in it. Now you have community involved in it. Now you have the oil majors involved in it. But I think it's the responsibility of the president to be able to look at all of this. Because one challenge, and what I keep saying is, if you have a party that is in power, with a majority in the Senate, with a majority in the National Assembly, and such an important bill can't be passed, then you start asking questions. So for us in that committee, we have done what we know we need to do. But the responsibility of turning that bill into law does not belong to Senator Udoma's committee. It's the responsibility of the National Assembly. So they are in a better position to answer why they haven't passed that bill into law.
Now, if the PIB is something that should benefit Nigerians, why should some people think they can play politics with it, especially in the National Assembly?
So what I think that political leadership would have been able to do would have been, okay, what are your concerns here? And in what area can we also make sure that we develop maybe your solid minerals and also have what I call an all-inclusive bill whereby it becomes mutually beneficial. So it's not left for the political leadership to now look at it, okay, where are the challenges that this bill is facing, and then seek for how to address it. Not until they do that, I don't think anything is going to happen.
All right, Mr. Esele, I'm going to ask you to hold your thoughts for a moment and let's just go on this quick break. And when we come back, we shall continue with our discussion right here on Question Time. Join us again.